welcome guys back to this match in Alliance Tournament 15. I'm Mythica Hawk, joined by Chocolate Rain, here for the Of Sound Mind versus Thermodynamics match. So on the Of Sound Mind side, we have what looks like a rapid light missile launcher spam here, with Basilisk, Dual Orthrus, Gila, Dual Cerberus, Dual Navy Osprey, a Stork and a Caracal. And it looks like they're coming in at range there, ready to fight this Thermodynamics team. Rain, what do you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Thermodynamics brought a double Armageddon, Oneros, Navy Brutix, Pontifex, Vengeance, Vexer, Purifier, and Daredevil. So the double Armageddon, one of them actually with the name I'm going to attempt to pronounce, but it starts with Map, is actually their Flaggeddon. So he should have all the officer fits on him, as well as have a little, I would say, a little more durability as well as control than Reign Central and the other Armageddon.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the difference in the control bars here. Of Sound Mind, their control bar is basically not there. There's probably a couple of scrams on those Orthruses, versus the Thermodynamics control bar is full on, maxed out. It is off the side as far as we can possibly go. So this is going to be potentially an issue for Of Sound Mind. The long range newts on the Thermodynamics side could really hurt these kiting Orthruses, specifically if they get capped out way too early. They won't be able to prop away and allow the Navy Brutix to just close distance and put that damage on them.
Yeah, however, since they are all like light missile, then they will be able to use their missile launchers actually while being neuted out. So that is sort of a positive for them. As long as they don't get caught, they should be okay.
Yeah,
no, started off.
They're going to have to coordinate their rapid light missile launcher cycles here to get as much damage down as possible, and they're going for the Daredevil first of all, which is a good choice just to get rid of that fast tackle. The Daredevil and the Vengeance of Chester just burning in, trying to catch some of these ships here. Chester, of course, a very top tier pilot. We expect him to be able to feather his way in here and get in right into those Orthruses.
And that's exactly what he's done. He's burning in. It looks like probably, I would say, towards the Basilisk. It looks like he missed though, and is now being ECM'd by these drones. These Armageddons are actually chasing the core of Sound Mind, which is just burning directly away towards an MJD beacon.
Yeah, Chester there taking a bit of damage, but it looks like the reps are landing from War Destined, so he's currently holding no problem whatsoever. On the Of Sound Mind team, the Basilisk is getting hurt by those long range newts. Now he's probably going to be XL ASB fit, so he should be okay for a while, but once his resistances start to turn off, he will drop off, and it looks like he's going very slow, so perhaps he's already capped out. He won't be able to rep, and his prop mod, it looks like, has turned off, but no, he is cycling out again, so he might just be getting away. And as I say that, he's now webbed.
It's actually a battleship grapple too. So as those battleships get closer, the grapple gets stronger, and then there's the web and the scram. So whatever prop mod he had, unless I'm assuming he had an MWD based on his speed, but now that's probably going to be shut off, and he has a target painter on him. He's getting hit pretty hard, but he has his ASB running. Those cycles don't last very long though, and then even once he's out of boost, he won't be able to run it due to the cap pressure.
Yeah, all the control there from the Thermodynamics team, just shutting down that Basilisk, and he is down. So they traded a Pontifex and a Daredevil for a Basilisk. That's a pretty good trade for the Thermodynamics team now. So all they have to do is start just catching these kiting ships and applying that damage. The Of Sound Mind team, they'll probably be in between reloads as well, so the damage is dropping off, allowing War Destined in that nearest to rep his friends back up. The Caracal currently, he is grappled and used to those long range newts are just being spread all over the field just now. That Caracal, no reps at all to receive, so he is going to drop very, very fast, and he is dropping into hull and will be gone very soon.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. So Of Sound Mind was sitting on the beacon where they could MJD away to safety, and they actually didn't take it. Instead, they're just kind of flying away from Thermodynamics, which obviously isn't proving too well for them because these Armageddons have such a long range, especially with the flag Armageddon.
Yeah, and we're seeing the Purifier on the Of Sound Mind team, I think. No, sorry, the Thermodynamics team started to take a little bit of damage, but again, War Destined in that, and he's having no problem keeping up his friends. However, the Vex are taking a bunch of damage. It looks like he is being jammed as well, and perhaps the Navy Ospreys, or maybe some drones are kicking around. The Navy Osprey of Sound Mind is taking a lot of damage as well, and of course no reps for them, so it's just a matter of time. Unless they can remove some of the damage from the Thermodynamics team and just kite away, then they're going to have a real struggle to kill any more ships.
Yeah, the Oneros staying alive with Thermodynamics gives them more longevity, whereas Of Sound Mind is just basically a DPS race. They either have to get Thermodynamic ships off the field, or they're just going to lose. Especially, there's now a point difference, like a significant point.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing
Of
Sound Mind
here. If nothing dies, they would still lose. Go on.
Yeah, also in mind, they're got a good choice here, taking away that Vexor. They really want to get rid of this Purifier as well, and perhaps the Vengeance, and then they will be faster than all the remaining ships in the Thermodynamics team. So if they could just kite away and start sort of working in these. But so far they've lost a Serb and a Navy Osprey, and the Caracals is quite a lot of damage, especially from the bursts. I think we saw here that that Vexor didn't die in the burst, and he's now receiving reps. He has very low hull, only 10% structure remaining, but he is surviving, living to win, and Chester as well, and that Vengeance take a little bit of damage, but again, repped no.
Yeah, and even if they do manage to get him off the field, they will be halfway through their reload, or not the reload, but their clip with the ammo. So they may not even have enough DPS to kill anyone else on the field, which then they have to take more time to reload. So while rapid lights are very, very strong, they also have their drawbacks. So people have to be very smart in using them.
Yeah, it looks like that Orthrus there by MSLA is being grappled and neutered, and just the damage that's hitting on him right now is so high, he's really struggling. He is boosting a little bit by himself. You see the defense bar does have a little purple bit, that is local reps, so they do have a booster of some description, but it's just not enough to sustain under all this damage coming in just now as he's dropping into armor, still trying to boost through, but there just isn't enough buffer left as he drops all the way into hull, and he will be removed. And there's another huge chunk of damage that's just been removed from the Obsound Mine team.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Upsound Mind is attempting to do. It looks like they were attempting at one point to run. They realized it wasn't working, and now they're just being strategically picked off one by one. This Vexor is still kind of bouncing up and down with the reps and the damage. Then it looks like they tried to go maybe for that Oneris, but everyone on the Thermodynamics side is sitting pretty.
Yeah, it looks like it's just been too much damage removed from the Obsound Mine team now to break any ships left. Though they are having another crack at Chester just now. He is starting to drop a little bit, but I'm sure the reps will land pretty soon. They have been struggling to break this Vexor. They've tried a couple of times, but they just haven't been able to get through before the reload hits, and that's just a kiss of death for a rapid light missile comp. If you can't break them between your cycles, you're just not going to break them. And we're just seeing them struggle to break anything else at all now. The Vexor living again on 10% structure. He's repped back up. A Purifier starting to take a huge amount of damage. He will probably die if they could just get a few more cycles off, but no, I say that the Aeneas is saving him yet again. War Destined and the Aeneas doing a fantastic job saving all his buddies here. That is some top tier piloting.
Yes, agreed. Especially with being a Logi pilot in the Alliance tournament, it's probably one of the most stressful things because you not only have to know where your enemy is, but you have to know where your friends are. And he's doing very well at making sure that his team stays alive as they try to switch targets, or Upsound Mine tries to switch targets.
Yeah, it really is just up now for Thermodynamics. There's just not enough damage left for Offside Mine. They can try and blast through something pretty quick with some heated cycles, but I don't think they're going to have enough damage to get past this on Nearest. And I mean, this is it for Offside Mine. It really is just clean up for Thermodynamics here.
Yeah, I believe Thermodynamics had it when they managed to catch Tinking and the Basilisk, and that is a different Tinking than most people would recognize as the PL Logi pilot. Well, he did well. He did get caught, I believe. He either had cap troubles or just not getting up to speed in time, and the Flag Armageddon caught him. And once you lose your Logi, usually, unless you can react quickly, you're pretty much out. And that's what happened for Upsound Mine.
Yeah, it looks like the Scimitar ban here by Thermodynamics hurt Offside Mine more than they wanted to realise, because the Basilisk not as good at kiting away as the Scimitar. I'd bet my bottom dollar that Offside Mine wanted to bring that Simi and kite away, but the slower Basilisk was caught by those long-range newts, and of course that rushing in of the Daredevil, the sacrificial Daredevil, to just web him and slow him down and allow the heavier ships to get on top of him and just start applying that heavy damage. That really was the end of it for them.
Yeah, so we only have one ship left on the field. They destroyed the Gila, actually. Even though it starts with a G, it's pronounced Gila. For those of you complaining in Twitch chat. So he will be going down actually rather quickly to Thermodynamics. Looks like all they really have to do is catch him, and he is going very slowly compared to what he could be.
Yeah, it looks like Thermodynamics just had a top-tier headshot taken out that Basilisk, just really secured them the match. Offside Mine didn't have enough damage to really break through any of the substantial ships on the Thermodynamics side. They managed to get that Pontifex right at the start, and the Daredevil, of course, is a bit squishy, but anything with substantial tank, we saw the Vexor get hit a couple of times into hull, but always managed to pull through between the cycles. So it really is just one of those cases, like, if you can't break them in that one cycle, this is when you know it's not going to be a good match for your rapid light missiles.
Yeah, that separates some of the lower tier teams from the top tier teams, if you want to call it that, of being able to communicate across, say, 8 different pilots to try and time those. I also think, I might be crazy, but I believe I also see yes, that is an electron bomb from that purifier, finishing off that Gila. With that, we'll send it
Finishing
back to the studio.
My brother gets off work at 4 o'clock and we're coming down here to kick some mother.
Hey guys, welcome back. Another great match there between Thermodynamics and Of Sound Mind. Now the main thing I want to talk about there is the Rapid Light comp, which we've seen kind of take third place in popularity this weekend and last weekend. Probably NBCs and drones are in the top, and then Rapid Light is a solid third place. One of the interesting things we saw, in fact, from both sides there is the use of command destroyers to apply links. Now, if you are flying a Rapid Light comp, you have a lot of high point cruisers, so that's your pirate faction cruisers, you know, your hacks in terms of the Cerberus. You can even throw in Ishtars there for a bit of extra drone support. It fits in quite nicely to the comp shield Ishtar, but getting links can be very difficult because you haven't got a lot of points left to play with. And battle cruisers, there's not really a great battle cruiser for Rapid Lights, and also there are so many points, and then they're so slow as well compared to the cruiser that you're trying to kite around. Command destroyers can fill that role, but are command destroyers good enough? Do you think command destroyers are valid, or do you think it's better to go no links than waste your points on a command destroyer for however many links it can give you? Jin?
Links are like so important to the tournament. I don't think you can afford to bring no links. I think maybe bringing 2 separate link ships is beginning to become too prevalent. I'd expect to see people scale back to just 1 command destroyer and then using that extra points to protect that command destroyer a lot better. You know, what we saw in that match particularly was Thermodynamics being able to apply their damage perfectly fine to it. They had enough offensive control to deal with its naturally low SIG and good EHP, and being able to screen that offensive control off a lot more is going to be better, I think, as the RLML meta develops to face these drone comps.
In addition to that, if you are fielding command destroyers, the armor command destroyers, their damage is based predominantly on drones. So you fill out your drone way with drones, and then you can have 1, 2, 3 links with those small command processor improvements, and your highs are just utility anyway, so you can shove links on there. With the shield variants, however, they are missile-based ships, so slapping links on there, you have to spend then more fitting on fitting missile launchers. And even with the 1 utility high 4 launcher base on there, they don't do a ton of damage. You're looking at 150 really best case scenario. So it's very, very difficult to put them in if you expect them to do any extra damage, if you just expect them to do anything else than links. Whereas with the command destroyer, obviously you get with the command ship, you get links as well as those big bonuses. You know, even the EOS that used to have, you know, 5 links in the highs back before they changed the command bursts, you still had the drone bay, you still had those mids for utility. And then, of course, finally, command destroyers have a very short range, very short radius on their burst compared to command ships, so you have to be very careful about positioning them. So you can't just throw them away as screening tackle because they're out of range for your logistics for maybe a heavier core that's difficult. Still, like I said, we are joined by Jintan and Nikal and RocketX still on the end there to look at this match and future matches. Before we talk to Nikal, I've been told that we have a funny image, and I will leave you, the dear viewer, to decide whether or not this image is in fact funny. Chesser.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Chesser, in fact, burned out his prop mod, perhaps feathering it a touch too hard on the throttle there. moving forward, we have the next match coming up. That's going to be match 6 of the day. That is Hull Control versus Fraternity. Hull Control losing their first match to Snuffed Out and then beating Dreamfleet. Fraternity beating Asteria Concord, then losing to Rote Capel. Nikhil, why don't you tell us a little bit about either of these two teams, Hull Control or Fraternity?
So Hull Control, as far as I know, they are a wormhole-based corp. Fraternity, again, not a newcomer to this, have been doing this for at least a few years now. And yeah, Fraternity bring in some very experienced players. I am expecting the same from Hull Control, but I think it's going to be a very close game between these two. Two big juggernauts here.
We do have another wonderful graph coming up from the stats guys. We have the use of capacitor warfare. So obviously with its predominance as a flagship and just how amazing it is in the AT as a flagship, we have the Balgorn there up at 20 picks. We have the Armageddon coming out with a few double Armageddon teams there. We saw one just earlier, and then of course Rote Capel is, that's their signature move to bring a double Armageddon. And then we're seeing the Curse come through as a popular choice. It brings those newts and those all-important TDs when you're in a very heavy NBC meta. Then the crew are coming down with a little bit of choice as well, and yet no sign from the Ashimir Dragoon, Legion, Malice, Pilgrim, or Vangal. Now, Nikhil, I want to ask you a little bit about these ships, if I may. Do you think that we are likely to see any of these ships that we've not seen yet throughout the weekend? The Legion, of course, just going through the Tech 3 cruiser rebalance. The Malice itself, an 80 ship. Does the Pilgrim have any advantage over the Curse? What are your thoughts on these ships listed here that we are yet to see?
It's a difficult one. I don't think we're going to be seeing the Pilgrim just because I feel like the Curse does a much better job for it. Armageddon, obviously a very staple pick right now. Not surprised to see that really high up there because it just has so much utility to it. Vandal, don't think we're going to be seeing that at all. Yeah, it's just one of those things. You want to go for the most reliable, go for the ship that offers you the most options to have rather than kind of pigeonholing yourself into one role, such as the Pilgrim. Whereas the Armageddon is just all around a much better ship if you can afford the points for it.
Now, energy warfare in EVE is something that in a lot of different types of warfare and a lot of different types of space, it's really kind of ignored if they have just massive damage or controlling the utility. We don't really see, dedicated neuting ships apart from in very specific situations. So I think it's worth some of the audience who are maybe newer to the AT, if Rocket, I could ask you to maybe explain what cap warfare is, what the modules are, what they do, why it's good, why the Balgorn does it so well, what the Blood Raiders thing are, just to kind of give us a breakdown of what cap warfare is in EVE Online.
So every ship in EVE has cap, which is capacitor. So it's kind of like the battery or the energy that runs the modules on your ship. So you need that capacitor in order to activate a lot of your modules, be it weapons. There are some weapon systems that don't use capacitor, so autocannons and missiles are a primary example of those. But generally, a lot of the modules that you're using, including the modules for tank to add resistances to your ship, prop mods, electronic warfare, they're all going to require cap. So if you can shut the enemy's cap down, you're going to have a tremendous advantage over them. And now, one thing that's particularly awesome about cap warfare is the fact that you can use neutralizers, which are high slots, against your opponent, and whereas normally most kind of slots that are considered for utility, so for example electronic warfare, they're predominantly mid slots, but this is kind of an extra layer that you can add to help shut down the enemy team, which not only shuts their ships down but also gives you some element of range control as well. We're seeing that a lot in terms of Balgorns, which fit heavy newts. Their range on them isn't as good as the Geddons, for example, which have the range bonus, but the Balgorns get the bonus to the amount, and they also have something special with a different module called Nosferatu, like we generally refer to it as Nos. And what that does, it's a special bonus on the ship that means that no matter how little cap your enemy has, you will still get the full cap drain amount. Because on normal ships, if the enemy has less cap than you, when you're neuting them as a proportion of their cap, so a percentage, if they have less cap than you do, then that NOS is less effective.
So there's that difference between newts, which just I take your cap away, and the NOS, which take less cap away, but you get to steal some of it.
Yeah, it takes it from them and gives it to you. And there's a lot of interesting ships, and the Blood Raider ones that you mentioned are one of the, they are the ship that has that bonus to it. And as far as I'm aware, the Rabisu has that bonus as well, and also the Cades. And one of the interesting things about the Cruel, for example, it has that cycle time bonus. So once the target ship's cap is dead, it means that you can keep it dead a lot more efficiently.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
of course,
less
we
chance
see the
of any cap
Balgorn
boosting.
just invalidating logistics by taking all its cap because repair modules
Yeah.
are so cap heavy.
The Balgorn is always going to be so popular.
We have the results of one of the votes in here, Of Sound Mind versus Thermodynamics. That was Arfi. Congratulations to Arfi. However, I'm told the next match is coming up. That is the match coming up here between Whole Control and Fraternity. That is match 6 of today here at 8015. Remember to send your questions into the panel at #ATXV on Twitter. Let's head over to the casters in the match.